Hello guys, welcome to another full flap, or in this case, triple slotted flap sim live stream in an airplane that I probably should have streamed a long time ago. The FSS 727. They first brought it to us in a cargo variant, and now they've got a passenger variant that I've been having a lot of fun with. So thanks for joining me. It's been a little while since the last stream, just been busy with some work trips and such, but here we are, finally able to fire up the sim and have a little bit of fun. So, virtual flight diaries. Thanks for joining, man. Awesome. Can never get enough of the 7.2. Can't wait for this to drop in 2024. I think it's working in 2024. They have a section on their forums or their Discord for it. But I think at least in the beta, it's going in 24. But a fully supported release will be welcome for sure. Tango Kilo. Sup, dude? Welcome. Yeah, it ain't NWA, but it'll do. I've actually got the Northwest Orient repaint, and I almost flew it, but something about this Western livery just kind of got my attention. You know, I was like, well, Mountain West, Salt Lake flying, the Western livery, kind of iconic on the 7.2. So, and I don't think we've flown Western yet on stream, so I figured we'd give it a look. John Seifert, happy to be here for some bare metal 727 action. Thanks for streaming. No problem, man. Yeah, I'm excited to check out the 7.2 and do a little bit of old school airline flying. Kind of, the spirit of the historic airliner series. Kind of see how they did it back before we were all children of the Magenta Line. AJ, does this have VNAV? No, it does not, and y'all are going to watch me struggle with the descent planning and stuff into Vegas. So, full disclosure, we're going to have to table the real airline pilot qualification because while I am a real airline pilot, I'm in no way qualified to operate a 727. So, we're just going to be trying to make it happen on this stream. So, should be fun. But if I end up struggling a little bit and need y'all's help to get this thing going, please jump in the chat. So, virtual flight diaries, it does, but it's buggy. Okay, gotcha. Cool. So this livery is from FSCabral, who is one of my favorite livery painters with the airline stuff. Just he does a really good job with the weathering. You can see like the hydraulic fluid staining there on the elevator and the rudder area. He also did the American Airlines livery that I was going to fly when you all said you want American, but I'd already set up the stream with Western, so here we are. All right. Anyway, here we go. Blackbird Controls, welcome, man. Howdy, howdy. We're up in your neck of the woods in Salt Lake City, flying the old 7.2. So I'm using my 7.3 throttles. If you look down, I've got 1 and 3 set to the left throttle, and I've got number 2 set independently so that we can do some of the split throttle stuff that they used to do in the 7.2. This is interesting though, and I don't know if it's just my setup, but if number 1 and 3 are on the same lever, and if you look, number 3 moves a lot faster, and then number 1 catches up. So I don't know why it does that, but in the mid-range and cruise, like number 1 and 3 are both running off of the same lever, but they go to different settings. So thought that was a little strange, but won't be a game changer for us. So we'll just make do with it. Diabetic Lad, Big Sim, and Little Sim streaming while I'm stuck at work. Catch you on the replay. Hey, no worries, man. Sorry, I know this time frame is not ideal for a lot of folks, but it's kind of the only time that I have to stream while kiddo's down for a nap. So, anyway, all that said, here we go. Battery's coming on. We'll switch the DC meter up. We're checking for 24 volts. We got that. We'll set the external power to on. We've got the essential power to external power. I know Protect Essential was a big thing for the engineers in the 7.2. And the first thing I would like to do would be to get the INS spinning up here, because this is kind of the long pole in the tent. These old airliners, it's kind of cool. You can set them up pretty quick because you don't have an FMS to program or anything like that, but you do have to give the INS time to align. So we'll zoom in here. We'll set the knob to align. Display comes up, waypoint 0. Now we'll put the rotary to position. and then we'll enter our starting position, which is KSLC, and it's going to be north 4047.3. 4047.3, insert west 111.58.7. Alright, 111.58.7, insert, and now we'll go spin this knob all the way to the right and watch this qual count down. And then when we get a ready nav light in green, we'll switch this to nav, and then we can go ahead and set up the INS points. We only have 4. We're going to be doing a lot of VOR flying for us today. So, V1, only time you have to stream sounds like a seniority problem. Yeah, man. I've been flying more than I probably should have. I sit at 20%, but I bid at 95% because I don't know how to work PBS. Oh, man. V1, congrats, by the way. Now family of 6. So, glad to hear everything's going well for you, man. Congrats to you, Mrs. V1, and the whole family, dude. That's awesome. Blackbird, hopefully I didn't just drop anything that was supposed to be dropped in chat, but there we go. Blackbird, it's an animation thing. Interesting. I thought the engines were split as well in Cruise, but we'll take a look at it when we get there. Okay, so we'll close the guard on the battery. Galley power is going to stay off for now. We don't have enough power to brew the coffee. On the external power, drives are connected. Central power is in external. The electrical system, those are all off. That's correct. For the fuel system, we're going to turn on 1 pump in each tank. We're going to turn the cross feeds off on 1 and 3. We're going to have the cross feed manifold feeding into the center engine. Fuel heats will be off. Hides are, they look good. Ground interconnect. We'll check all the hides out here. So we'll check the A pump, or I guess the electric 1 pump. All right. So we got that. There's 1. All right. Check the other pump. That's good. Both of them on. Check the ground interconnect. A is coming up. Looks good. And B pump, we'll leave 1 on. We'll test the engine vibes. Oh, man. Infy and Ewok, welcome, man. What's up? How is it going? Tango Kilo, budget cuts at Western, swiping AAL checklist. Oh, dude, I didn't even notice that. Look at that. The checklist says American Airlines. Yeah, I bet FSCabral, he probably just missed that in his texture swapping. That's funny, man. Good catch. Yeah, I didn't see that. All right, we'll do a ground test. All right, ground reset on the wing. Trip overheat. Overheat lights are good. Start valve lights all look good. Pack trip is going to go to normal for takeoff. Passenger oxygen's in normal. Is it pressurized? For the bleeds, cargo heat outflow and gaspers come on. Packs are off for now. APU and engine tube bleed are off. Right and left engine bleeds can stay on. Temp controls, those are all fine for now. For cruising altitude, what are we going up to? We are going up to 290. Yeah, we're cruising at 290 today. So we'll set this to 290. This was actually the same pressurization panel on the 7.2 Classics. So landing altitude is going to be 2180. Cabin altitude for the standby system at 290. Come over to this strip. We have 28, 30, 29 will be 3,200. So we'll set that here. There we go. 32. Set the rate abeam the index. Manual outflow valve, that's an auto, and the ground flight switch stays in ground for right now. Panel lights, they can stay off. Fuel flow reset, knock that out. Service interphone stays off. And constant speed drive, oil cooler can stay in the normal position. All right. Engine fire detectors, we'll leave those in A and B. Turn the dome light on. And that should cover the engineer pre-flight. And we'll turn the master switches on. All right. Let's see. Infian dropping in to watch a streamer who actually flies, you know, not one who sims for a living. Dude, well, I appreciate it, man. Um, I'm actually looking forward to the next stream. We're going to take the iFly out, and we're going to do just a normal flight in the iFly, but we're going to check out some FMS isms, if you will, that only the iFly simulates correctly. So I'm actually looking forward to that quite a bit. So. Oh man, AJ Fernari jumping in with a $5 super chat. Thank you, man, for the support. I really appreciate it. Full flap Sims bids just like he's bidding for himself and Fly Navy. What a complete wing nut. If drops 4 trips and he bids on. Oh man, dropping some truth there in the chat, man. Thanks, dude. I really appreciate the support for the channel, man. All right, let's jump up on the upper overhead here. Let's see. Infian, I agree, man. The iFly does sound amazing, but we are gonna jump in the FMS because the more I dove into the FMS and the iFly, I feel like I shortchanged it a little bit. The iFly FMS is actually really good, so looking forward to checking that out. All right. Hydraulic power for the aileron, spoilers, and elevator, as well as the rudder system. That's all set. Flight control. Warning test. I'm not really sure what this switch does. We're just going to leave it in spare. We're going to check the anti-skid, outboard, inboard, back to norm, and then turn it off. Stall warning test, and heater. Flight recorder test, light comes on, compass is slaved, instrument comparator test. So I think if we hit this switch, we should get the comparators. Yep, there they go on the main instrument panel lit up. Instrument comparative test is good. Nav and display switches are normal. This exact panel is straight out of the NG, which is kind of funny. Fire bell. Auto brake start RTO. Arm the emergency exit lights. Ignition and start switches are off. Alternate flaps are off. Test CVR. That's good. Passenger and seatbelt signs. Get the window heats on. Anti-ice will be off. Probes and lights. We'll get the logo light, the nav light, and that's it for the lights. All right, let's see if the Boeing rider will cook the engines like V1 Sim. Dude, I'm going to try not to, but no guarantees, man. This thing is old school, and you're doing the job of 3 people, so we'll see. Max Racing, is that a weather radar? It is, but it's inoperative, man. Yeah, it doesn't work, unfortunately. All right, coming down to the captain's side, we'll test the Mach airspeed warning. All right, that's good. All right, airspeed warning switch mode. So, best I could gather, what this is depending on your gross weight, etc., you can change the VNE and MMO of the airplane. So, we're going to leave it in A, which is the fast mode, Mach 0.9 at a lower at 21,500 feet, I believe. But I don't believe this is currently simulated by FSS. All right, we'll test the yaw damper, left and right. Elevator servo can stay on A, that's fine. We'll magic rear ref key all the altimeters. Yaw dampers closed. We're taking off on the Sevier departure, which is up to 10, so we'll set that in the altitude pre-select. Temperature is less than 10 C, so we're going to have to run the anti-ice on the ground. All the engine instruments look fine. INS is still cooking. We'll come up here to the fire panel, test that. All right, that looks good. Test the lights overall. It really is funny that this thing is, I mean, it's definitely older, but it's not that much different than the 7.3. Coming down here, INS is aligning, radars in standby. We'll set some random transponder code. In standby, check the config warning horn. This doesn't work for me. I should be getting a config horn right now, but for some reason I'm not getting it. Autopilot's off, that's all good, and then we'll set the radios up as part of the, once we get, take a closer look at our flight plan there. So, alrighty then, so let's take a look at our load, fuel, and all that. So we'll step through here. SEVA INS, that's all good. Pre-flight, okay. We'll download the flight plan. Salt Lake to Las Vegas. We'll load, and I've actually had some issues with the loading here. So what we're going to do is we're going to fast load, and then you have to jump into the weight and balance tab here because the sim brief loading actually puts the CG way out of limits. Yeah, so see here, the aft limit, the CG is out of limit. So what you have to do is you have to manually move some junk around here. So we'll take economy zone 8, and they're all getting a free upgrade. So 3872, we'll get rid of them, and we'll put one more, 3872, and we'll get rid of that. There we go. So we're close to the forward limit now, but that's all fine there. And then we'll check the fuel here in a second as well. So let's see. So the actual weights right now, our zero fuel weight is 135.9, and SimBrief wanted. What did SimBrief want for a zero fuel weight? 131.6. Okay, so that's fine. We're in the window for that. And then for block fuel, we should have 21, which would be 7 aside. All right, so we're going to manually load that as well. So we want 21,000 pounds of gas, which is going to be 7,000 pounds aside. I think this is a known bug with this current iteration of the FSS, where just the weight and balance manager in SimBrief doesn't really play nice together. So, all right, there we've got 7 aside, 157 total. That will all work. Okay. We've got all of our weights. 135, that all checks out good. For takeoff, we're taking off on, we're going north, so we're taking off on 34 right. We'll use flap 20 for juicy cinematic purposes there. And we'll set the EPR, and we'll set the speeds. All right, sorry guys, I'm not ignoring the chat. I just, this airplane takes quite a bit to set up. So, let's see. Dan Fruck, I would like you to get in touch with Boris. I would like the sound pack for the 7.3 to work with Xbox. I don't know if that's possible. Boris has a Discord. If you want to jump in and check out the Boris Audio Works Discord, you could probably ask him, face to face, whether he's that's something he's working on or not. So, Zippy, yeah, we're doing the full 9, man. Tango Kilo, you discovered the CG issue by accident. She's fast, but a bucking Bronco if you don't update. Yeah, I was having a lot of trouble with this thing, and then I got on the Discord and found the CG issue. So yeah, it's good. Alexander, welcome, man. Glad you held off on the 727, though. Having a mess with the weight and balance puts me off it for sure. Dude, so it is, it's a known issue that FSS is working on, and I'm with you. I like SimBrief integration as much as the next guy. It's very frustrating for me when it doesn't work. However, they are used to it. They're not used to it. They're aware of it, and they're getting it fixed. So trust me, I'm 100% with you, but I wouldn't let this turn you off in the airplane, dude. It's actually pretty good. Pete Ski, $10 super chat, my man. Thank you for dropping in. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support, man. Is there a movie on this flight? Dude, we're not going to have time for a movie on this flight because we're going to be trying to not crash this analog steam gauge 7.2 into a mountain between here and Vegas. And the weather is a little skosh. So I was expecting clear blue skies, but I loaded real world weather. So we're going to be pretty busy on this one, man. Thanks for dropping by, and thanks for the support, man. I really appreciate it. Like button pre-smashed. Awesome. I appreciate it. Let's see. AJ, when you get the chance, post the route in the chat. That way went. Okay. Let's see. So we're going KSLC, Sevier, departure, then Chow, for the blade 5 into KLAS. There it is. Cool. All right, V speeds are set. So 130, the first bug here is V1. The speed bug is at V2. 160 is where we can retract to flap 5, flap 2, and then flap up at 200. So those are all set. All right, now for charts, let's take a look. All right, let's take a look at this. We're taking off out of Salt Lake City, and this is really cool, the Navigraph stuff here. So we're taking off on the Sever 3. Okay, and then we're also going to do the Blade 2 into Vegas, and we're going to do KLAS here too, and then we're going to do the approach to the ILS runway 26 left. All right, so out of here, zoom in a bit, it's going to be a 263 heading for the initial climb. So we're going to go 400 feet, and then we're going to go 263 on the heading. So we're going to set that in the heading bug. Okay, looks like our INS is cooked, so we can go there. So there's 270, 265, 23. Okay, so there's 263. We'll go nav on the INS. We'll go to waypoint. We'll come back to that in a second. All right, so 263, and then we're going to pick up the, let's see, I think that's the Wasatch Vortac, right? Yeah, Wasatch 116.8 on the 193 radial. So we'll put 193 in this course here. All right, and we're going to do this without looking at any moving map, hopefully, here. So 193 radial, and Wasatch is 116.8. So we'll go, and we'll put that in here in the nav radios. All right, so we got 116.8, and we'll put it in here as well, 116.8. Okay, so that'll take us out here to Edith, and then Edith is defined off the Milford VOR, which is 112.1, so we'll stack that in the backup radio. There's 112.1 and 112.1. All right, so the radios are all set for the departure. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the INS, and we're going to put in a couple of points that are going to help us here. But like I said, we're going to fly it mostly raw data, but we're going to put in severe. We're going to put in EHK, which is going to be, so we're going to put in severe, then we're going to go direct to Enoch, so we're going to navigate to this with the INS, then we're going to put in Hold'em, which these aren't really required. We might use VOR nav, but I'd like to have them in the INS for backup. And then the only one that I want in the INS is Chow, and that's so I can use the INS to help back us up with this altitude restriction. So here we go. Lyric Lemon in the house. Welcome, man. Dude, do not judge me for my 727 flying, man. I know you're a big fan of this airplane, and I apologize ahead of time for what I'm about to do to your airplane. All right, so waypoint 0 is Salt Lake City. Waypoint 1 for INS purposes is going to be severe. Right, so that's going to be north 3913, insert, west 112.53.3. 112.53, oh boy. 112, west 112.53.3. Insert. Okay, so there's severe. Now we'll go to waypoint number 2. And number 2 we said is going to be EHK. And that's going to be, so we got waypoint 2, north 3747.2. 3747.2. Insert. West 113.041. Insert. Okay. Then Hold'em is going to be next, and that's going to be north 3649.1. North 3649.1. Insert. West 113.041. 32.7 insert. And then waypoint 4 is going to be Chow, which is the last one here. North, 36, 23.7, and west, 114, 13.8 insert. Okay, so we've got all that. Go back to waypoint 0. We want 0 to 1 in the INS. That's on, and we'll put distance and time. All right, so the INS is all squared away. All right. John Seaford, interesting that the pneumatic brake handle is so prominently placed. Was it prone to hydraulic failures? I don't know. I agree with you. It is very interesting, but if I had to guess, we're going to start the APU up. We're going to do the fire test, and then reset it once, twice, and fire up the start button. I don't know, but I would guess that just being that this was one of the early jets, you know, the landing speeds and landing performance was such a big change from the prop liners that they probably just wanted to be able to have the ability to stop right in front of the pilots. That's my guess, though. I'm not sure. So, alrighty. Well, Lyric Lemon, hey man, keep me honest, dude. If you see me messing something up here, let me know. All right, so APU cranking. We'll test the leading edge slats system. That looks good, and it looks like everything is all fired up. So we'll go generator close the field. That's all good. Protect essential. APU. External power's off, and we'll leave the ground power off, and then we'll wait 2 minutes to get the bleeds fired up. So that is looking all good. So I think we can go ahead and run a checklist. There we go. All right, so pilot American Airlines checklist. Guess we stole this. Flight attendant brief is complete. Gear lever and lights are down. Brakes are parked. No, they're not. Yeah, they are. All right. Parking brake is set. Start levers are off. Flight instruments are set. Altimeters and clocks. We got the Magic Bearer F key. Radar and transponder is standby. Exterior lights are set. Emergency exit lights, those are on. Seatbelt, no smoking's on. Window heats are on. Compass slaved. Radios are on with the masters. Departure briefing we did. Logbook is complete. Anyone know what this box is? I don't know why those items are boxed. But anyway. Emergency power is off. Alternate flaps are off. We checked the stall warning. Engine and wing anti-ice are off. Flight control shutoffs, those are all on. Anti-skids checked and off. Static selectors normal. Emergency brakes off. Comparator we checked. Jip whiz and wind shear.
Glide slow. Pull up.
Is checked. Flight and instrument selectors are all on number 1. I'm not sure where those are, but I think that they're all on 1. Mock airspeed warning we checked. Central air data. Yaw dampers are over here. They're on. Spoilers are down. Takeoff warning is checked. Stab trim is set. And this is also another place you can check the CG. So so you set the trim over here. And the only reason I do it with the button is that if the trim is in the green band when it's auto set, then that means that your CG is in a good spot. All right, stab trim is set, autopilot is off, flight director's not going to use those. Trim tabs we checked, and the oxygen has been checked. All right, so the pilot's pre-flight is complete. Now we'll jump back to the old engineer. Gus, welcome, man. Thanks for joining, dude. All right, engineer. Batteries on, fuel quantity. We do want to check that one. 7,000 pounds per tank. We've got that. We've got the cross feeds and all that set. Fuel quantity. All right, boost pumps. 1 on each tank. We got that. Cross feed number 2 is open. B pumps. We checked it. 1's on. Hydraulic and engine oil quantity. We got bleed valves are open, and we can actually open the APU bleed now and get the packs on. Let's go back down to 0. All right. APU panel is checked, circuit breakers checked, ACARs, yeah, we don't have it. Fire control is checked, fuel dump panel we checked, flight recorder, that was checked, oxygen is checked, air conditioning panel, we're good, galley power, checked and off, electrical panel is checked, anti-ice auto trip, We checked that on the overhead. Overheat warning, check. DC power, A pumps are on. Rotor power's on. Ground interconnect, we checked it. Oil coolers in normal, and oxygen mask, we checked. All right, so checklist is finally complete. All right, so Gus, you think the box is what needs to be read on turnarounds? Got it. Gus, I was under the impression somebody had said that was a 727 ism, that when you had the packs on, the duct pressure went to 0. Is that not correct? I don't remember who said it, but I was under the impression that was the case. All right, well, got the APU on, so let's go ahead and get the ground services out of here. So get rid of the boarding stairs, remove ground power because we're on the APU. We can get rid of chocks and cones. Close the forward entry, cargo door, aft cargo, and the air stairs. Get the DB Cooper stairs closed. Kind of bums me out they didn't model the Cooper vane on the side of the air stair. All right, so we look all buttoned up. Chocks are out, so we're ready to get out of here, chat. Gus, as far as you're aware, no, because 0 PSI means no air being pushed through the system. Okay, yeah, that checks with kind of what I would expect, but I was under the impression that it was different on the 7.2. But okay, coming up to the overhead. Oh no, it's the engineer's job. All right, so we got pumps, doors, and TCAS is our flow. So we have pumps. Get all the fuel pumps on. Make sure all the lights go out. So pumps, hydraulic pumps, doors, flight deck door, and all the outside doors we checked. And transponder will turn on. There we go. We are ready for start. Okay, we'll get a pushback going, and we'll be out of here. So we'll go. Beacon is on. Brakes are released, and we're good to push. And I did bind my views, so we got some cool wing views. Oh man, yeah, AJ, when nobody was joining along, man, I disconnected. But there's no ATC or anything either, so we're not missing a whole bunch. All right, here we go. Let's get out of here. That Western livery is sick. I think it's the cheat lines. I've got a thing for cheat lines down the window. AJ, get back on. Well, can I get back on now? I'm already pushing back. Here, let me see. Hang on. Let me see if I can reconnect. All right, here we go. Coming up on the line. That should be good enough. Shift P, stop the pushback. All right, we'll set the parking brake. We'll reconnect to Iveo Premium here. Stand by. Connect. Yes. Okay. Nobody's controlling, so I think we're good. Oh man, Denver Center is crap. All right, well, we'll start up, and then we'll just, I guess we got to call him for clearance, don't we? All right. What frequency is he on? Is it Denver? No, no one's on. Okay. Okay. All right. We're on. Here we go. So, starting the engines, we got packs are coming off. We've got good bleed pressure, so now we can start number 3. All right. Starting 3. John Seifert, yeah, missed opportunity to power back, man. Dude, so I never saw the 7.2 do a power back, so for me the power backs feels strange. I mean, I know they did them. All right, there's 25%. the switch. Watching the exhaust gas temp. All right, AJ, we're back on, or we should be back on. I just got to get on CTAF and announce my taxi. All right, there's exhaust gas coming down. Oil pressure lights out. Got fuel flow. Oh, Gus, okay, 20%. Got it. Sweet. And then 40% it cuts out. Wow, that seems really slow. All right, there we go. That's cut out. Start number 2. There's ground. The sounds are kind of mid. And this is with the window open too. All right, oil pressure lights out. There's 20%. Here comes fuel. And Gus says it'll cut out at 40%. There's 38%. 40's coming. There it is. All right. And start number 1. There we go. Wow, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 4 cycles and 20 minutes off. Wow, that's not much start time. But I guess these low bypass ratio turbojets, well, this is a turbofan, right? It's just a low bypass turbofan. Doesn't really need that much time when you spin it up. Okay, there's 40%. Starter's off. There we go. After start flow, pitot heat, what's to eat? And then over here, oh, why's my stall warning? Stall warning, normal. Okay. And then let's see. All right, now we get to do the generators. So it's on the APU, and we'll just close. All right, now generator 2. We'll sync it up and close it. Generator 3. And close it. All right, we put the essential on Gen 3. Trip the APU, turn the APU off. Turn the packs back on. APU bleed comes off. Flight ground switch goes to flight. And I believe that's it. Oh, the flight temps are calling? Really? That's cool. All right, here we go. There we go. And then we'll put the flaps to, what did we say, 20? Which is 1, 2, 3, 4 stages. Oh man, guys, it takes no more than 40 seconds for a normal start per engine. Above that, you have a dying starter. Wow. Blackbird Controls figures I got to run shopping right when you're getting ready for departure. Have a great flight, man. Dude, Blackbird, thanks for the $10 super chat, man. I really appreciate it, man. We'll we got to play Blackhawk down here soon. Maybe we can get V1 to join us for a little bit of a parenting break, huh? All right. Gus, engine bleeds on. Yeah, they should be. So I've got 1 and 3 on. The APU and engine 2 bleeds are off. Packs are on. That should be all squared away. All right. Cool. Sweet. So we are ready to go. V1. The flap animation seems off. Yeah, man. They should go out and then down. Out and then down. All right, here we go. Quick flight control check here. Left, right, up, down. But the flap textures look pretty good, so I'll take that. All righty, here we go. All right, brakes are off. Taxiing out of here. We'll leave number 2 at idle. Taxi out on 1 and 3. Here we go. Oh, you know what? We need anti-ice on as well. So we'll go on, and on, and on. There we go. All right, watch your ears, guys. The sounds in here are super quiet, so I'm going to see if they're quiet outside as well. Yeah, they're good outside. They just seem super mid inside the cockpit, but it is a forward engine airliner, or aft engine airliner, so I guess that's why. All right. Blackbird, yeah, man. Kilo 11 is going to be a little preoccupied when we do our streams. Okay. Well, it looks like they switched the airport around on us, chat. They're going south now, so we'll might have to switch departures. We'll see. All right. Taxiing out. V1. My son's first stream is a 7.2 stream. I consider that a win, and it's a real Boeing pilot too. Hey man, starting off right. FT Sim win. Yeah, I don't think it's even the quality of the sounds that is bad. I think it's just the balance, right? Because it's super quiet inside. Hey, we'll figure out the scope rings. We have 6 to 8 weeks to figure it out while the upper gets delivered. All right, there we go. I feel like I'm supposed to be talking to somebody at this point. Does anyone know what the CTAF is for Salt Lake? I don't want to get violated and kicked off of IVEO Premium. Gus, your former friend deceased had 4 brake failure. Holy crap. At least it was on the long runway. They cleared the runway and had to use the pneumatic brake. Wow. Yeah, I've always wondered in the 7.2, or in the 7.3 rather, the brake system supposedly automatically backs itself up, but I always wonder when we're taxiing in. Interesting. Yeah, my sim is really quiet right now. I'm sure you can hear it. AJ 119.05. Thank you. 119.05. Oh, 05, not 50. There we go. 1905. V1, bad gouge. That's an ILS frequency. All right, let's see. Let's run a checklist. I think we had an after start check we had to do. All right. Start levers are idle detent. Beacon lights are on. Engine anti-ice is set. Flight engineer electrical power is set. Boost pumps are on. The B pumps are on. Hydraulic pressure is checked, and all the lights are out. All right. Look at that. We did it. All right. Taxi check. Flaps and runway. We got 20 set. Green light. Bugs and takeoff date is set. Stab trim is set. Probe heat is on. FO did his job. Flight controls are checked. SCAT, don't know what that is. Yaw dampers are set. Seatbelts, shoulder harnesses are checked. Engineers got the air conditioning on. Galley power, fuel heat we don't need. Auto pack trip is in cutout. And seatbelts and shoulder harnesses. All right, so we'll turn the galley power on in case they want to make coffee during takeoff. And we are ready to get out of here. We are going to have to switch departures, though, so we're going to sit in the penalty box here at the end of the runway while we get that figured out. Watch your ears. Coming outside. See, the sounds are good out here. That's JT8D howl. Dan, yeah, I think it should, but unfortunately that's not up to me. All right, we got flaps are set, 2020 green, and then we're gonna just kind of pull over here into the penalty box. Let everyone else go past us while we figure out our new departure, since we're taking off to the south now. Yeah, racing an ERJ. It is real life, chat. Look at that. Okay. Let's just bring it to a stop right here. Set the parking brake. This is real life. Make some time. So if a departure ever changes in real life, and you need a second to figure something out, just ask ATC for a spot where you can pull over and make some time. Figure it out. There's no, a lot of people tend to want to rush and just kind of make something up, and it's like, it's too easy to do it correctly. Okay, here we go. So we can do this. We'll do the Fairfield 9 out of here. So heading is going to be 160 off departure. And then we're going to go straight to Fairfield VOR. And then we're going to pick up the 170 radial off of Fairfield. All right, so we'll set 170. There we go. Off of Fairfield, we'll do that to Ernu. Then we'll go to Milford, which is still 112.1 and 116.8. Those are all, or let's see. Yeah, we want 116.6 actually here. There we go. 116.6 for Fairfield. And then the 170, we'll pick up the this radial to Milford, and then we'll go from Milford straight to the arrival. Uh-oh, we got beeped. Who's trying to talk to us here? You on comm? Yeah, we're on comm. Southwest 3658, Western 1422, go ahead. Oh boy. Chad, we cooked? Should be 1905, right? Radio check. Let's see. Yeah, it's 1905. 1905. Comm is on. Oh, is my push to talk not working? For some reason, my push to talk is not working. Okay, well, you know what? We're going to disconnect because I don't want to troubleshoot it, and I also don't want to get violated. So, all right, there we go. We got Fairfield in, so we're going to take off direct Fairfield up to 10,000 is the new plan. Flap 20 out of here. Here we go, chat. All right, here we go. Oh man, there's an Airbus there. Get out of here. All right, we'll stop here. Wait for the injected traffic. Look at the bare metal on that livery. That's something else, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Traffic's gone. We own it. All right. Landing and taxi lights, runway turn-off, strobes. Wing lights are on. Transponder is in TARA. We're going to spool them up. We're looking for a EPRA 2.06. Going out to Fairfield. So we're going to shoot for an initial pitch of V2 plus 15 knots. And then at 1,000 feet, we'll set climb power and accelerate. We'll retract the flaps to 5 at 160, 2 at 190, and then up at 200. That's the game plan at least. Okay, here we go. Zippy, you can see the different sections of the livery. Is it? I mean, that's realistic, isn't it? Like the different frames of the airplane. All right, here we go. Spooling them up. Forward on the yoke. And no other throttles here. Up we go. All right, we'll give it a little more juice. Yeah, you can see my throttle number 3 is definitely higher than the others. All right, that should be good. Okay, power set. Airspeed alive. Ease the pressure off the yoke. V1. Rotate. There's V2. Whoa. That was a quick rotation. All right, there we go. Pause rate, gear up. Watch your ears fly with. Pretty juicy. All right, there's V2 plus 15. Up we go. All right, the field was at 42, so we're looking for 52 to start the acceleration. There's heading at 160, 5,200, throttles come back, and let's accelerate. All right, so we'll go about 500 feet a minute while we accelerate out. This airplane does hand fly really well. All right, there's 160, here comes flap 5. Go. Yeah, Gus, the 7.2 is also 2 to 2.5 degrees a second. All right, so we're still picking up that 160 heading, looking to go direct to Fairfield. All right, there's flap 2 maneuvering speed, flap 2. Get the slats in. I love how that or those 2 flap segment or slat segments stay out at flap 2. All right, there's clean speed. Flaps coming up after takeoff. Anti-ice, engines and wings are on. That looks good. Oh, I must have I can't put the gear off because of my binding, I guess. All right. Salt Lake has a 230 knot speed restriction out, so we're gonna look to bug that. All right, and we'll say that they cleared us all the way up to cruise of 29. So we'll set that in the window. Keep the altitude coming up here. Don't want to get a speeding ticket. About to go in the weather, and the ice is on. Yep, valves are open. Okay. Okay, and we're going to get the autopilot on. IAS hold. Altitude select engaged, and heading select. There we go. Woo! All right, 90% below 10K usually gives you climb thrust. Okay, so we'll bump the power up a little bit here. There we are. There's 90%. All right, there's 10K, so we'll accelerate to 310. There we go. So we're going to go vert speed mode, roll the window down to 1,000 feet a minute, and accelerate. Get some speed going here. Going through 10, we can get the lights off. Runway turn off, so all that can come off. All right, there's 250. A little bit less pitch. And adjusted the power. So my EPR limits are like 1.8, so I need to pull the power back here quite a bit. I think you're trying to get me to blow up a motor, Gus. 85% looks like it's the right EPR setting. Okay, we got 14 miles to go to Fairfield. Tracking direct to it. And I'm just using this RMI here. Just kind of putting the needle on the nose. Pardon me, heads will fly, heads will fall, tails will rise. Look at that. There's a view you don't get anymore. Sounds are actually better in the cabin. Where's 1.8? It's right here in the bug. I've got the flight engineer auto setting the bugs for me. So there's 1.8 EPR. All right, there's my IAS. So I want to hold the IAS, let it do that. Up we go. 10 miles. 10 miles to go. Shakovic, hello man, how are you? All right, so we're going to pick up Fairfield VOR, and then once we have station passage at Fairfield, we're going to pick up the 170 radial. Which, honestly, we could probably just track the radial inbound now. Watch your ears, outside view. Whoa, that's loud. God, what a good looking livery. Screenshot. All right. Yeah, the balance between the inside and the outside sounds needs a little work. Okay, total air temp is 5, so I got the heats on still as we punch through these clouds. 3 miles. Yeah, we're going to miss the station to the south, or to the east by just a little bit. That's fine. 2 miles. So remember, this DME is in straight line distance, right? So if you're 10,000 feet, we're basically 2 miles over the station. So the DME will never actually get to 0 because you're 2 miles. When you're right over the VOR, you're still 2 miles away from it. There it is. So you saw it got down to 1.8. Now it's going back up again. All right, so we've got 2 from switch. So now we're going to pick up the 170 outbound. Here we go. Put the flight director into Vorlock mode. There we go. And we can switch the autopilot down here to Navloc. All right. There's 18,000. Climb check says altimeter is standard cross-checked. Auto bear a ref key. And we are on our way, Gus. PPL VOR overfly. Yeah, man. Oh, not even a 250-hour pilot, huh? PPL level. All right, so we got 1.8 EPR set on all the motors. Got another 10,000 feet to climb. And we're now established on this 170 radial outbound. And Ernu is at 69 DME. Nice. So 69 DME, and then from Ernu, we're going to go. Let's see. I guess we could go to Milford, and then from Milford, we could pick up. EHK. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, all right, we'll do that. So we'll go to Milford and then to Enoch from Milford. All right, so that's our plan. So we want to nav to Milford and then to waypoint 2. So we actually want to put the INS on waypoint 2. Insert. And so waypoint 2 is 143 miles or 20 minutes away. And what we're doing now is we're just waiting for Fairfield to get 69 miles away. That'll be our new waypoint, and then we're going to turn heading 206 to Milford. John Seifert, the sound guys on the plane really wanted to simulate the tail-mounted engines and how quiet the cockpit was, but it's pretty overdone. Yeah, I mean, I get that because there is wind noise and such right now, but I mean, I guess it would be quiet. It just seems like it's overdone, and the difference between inside and outside is, while I can appreciate them modeling the sound difference, it's annoying as a headphone user for a flight sim. So, all right, after takeoff, ignition. We should have had that on for takeoff. It's not. Ignition is set. Seatbelt, no smoking line. Logo lights we have off. Landing lights are off. Gear lever off, except I can't because of my hardware. And then auto pack trip can go from normal to cutout. There we go. All right, after takeoff check is complete. Yeah, this airplane has really matured to the point where it's a lot of fun to fly. Definitely more challenging than just jumping in the 7.3 and following the Magenta line. That's for sure. Okay, looking at all the oil pressures and temps. Those all look good. The cabin altitude is good. Differential looks good. All right. We're doing it, chat. Kurt Lewis, welcome. I don't know. I've been in the jump seats of MD-80s and 717s, and it is super quiet up front. Really? Okay. I mean, I guess there is. The engines are, 150 feet behind you. So I guess it could be quiet. Maybe the wind noises could be a little bit louder, but overall, not bad. It's more of a balance thing. Like even if it's not super realistic, because right now the difference between I'm just looking at the sound bar, the sim sound bar, and if I jump outside, the sound bar goes from halfway up the green all the way up into the yellow, which makes it tough for for streaming, and also if you're wearing headphones, you're blasting your ears out. Gus, the lack of a 400 hertz annoying clack saddens my heart, and my sanity is saved. Oh, all right, we're over-temping the motors a bit. All right, so we'll sneak the EPRs back to 1.94. I've noticed you really have to keep an eye on the EPR gauges on this thing, and you can see that even though I've got 1 and 3 are on the same throttle lever on my Bravo, the number 3 throttle runs a little hot, and that's reflected on the engine gauges as well. So I don't know if that's an FSS problem or if that's a honeycomb issue or what. But 2,000 feet to go. Kurt, on takeoff, you don't hear the engines hardly. You get a ton of air noise coming out of the vents and WEMAX as the bleeds start working out. I could see that actually, because even in the military airplanes I flew, like the Hornet and the T-45, less so the F-16. The F-16 you can hear the engine quite a bit, but in the Hornet and the T-45, the engine was kind of a background noise, and the air conditioning sounds and such like that were really what you heard in the cockpit. So Yeah, I could totally see that on a rear-engined airliner. It makes a lot of sense. Shakovic, why aren't you using auto throttle? I don't know, just because I kind of like keeping track of it manually during cruise. Also, I don't know if this, if I engage the auto throttle with my speed bug down here, wouldn't it pull the power back? I don't want it to pull the power back. I want it to keep the power up to climb power, basically. It is smooth though, so we'll go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign off. And you know what? It's Western Airlines in the 70s, so we're going to turn the no smoking sign off too. We're also above all the weather, so we can turn the anti-ice off. Get those closed. And we also took off with the anti-skid off, chat. Good thing we didn't have to abort. We'd have blown all 4 tires. All right, we got about 1,500 feet to go. The climb's kind of petering out a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into vertical speed mode, and we're going to force it up in vertical speed mode, and then we'll get our knots back once we're in cruise. There we go. 1,000 to go. Max EGT is 510. Okay, yeah. So we're doing good on EGT. It's really just EPR that's our limb fac right now. Yeah, Turk. I'm interested to see what PMDG's new sound like for the triple. Because the GE, is it the GE? One of the engine variants sounds incredible. All right, there's altitude hold. I'll throw the auto throttle on now, and we'll cruise at 0.85 because it's a 727. So my understanding of the 7.2 is that the barber pole was 0.9. Right now, FSS has it set right around 0.85, which to my understanding is where they cruise the 7.2 a lot. So we're gonna cruise it at 0.84, which is right up by the barber pole in the sim, but I'm pretty sure that should be 0.9 because we're above the 21,500 foot cutoff for 0.9, and even in the B mode, 26,500 is the limit. So I think this barber pole is low. It's possible too that I think FSS is working with modern 7.2 pilots, and so it's possible that the modern the 7.2s that are flying in the modern age have artificial limits as far as airspeed goes, just for longevity of the airframe. All right, so we're going to engage heading mode because we're right at 67 miles, and then at 69, that's her now. So we're going to go heading 206. So we're going to roll over there in heading mode, and then we're going to dial in Milford down here. So there's 112.1. We'll swap it in both nav radios. We're going to put 206 in the course, and we'll throw this back into Vorlok. There we go. And we'll go get the Vorlok course, and that'll take us right to Milford. Cabin sounds are pretty good. GEs, yeah, okay. So the GEs are pretty good. Pratt & Whitney and Rolls-Royce are mid. Nice. Yeah, I really want them to get the Rolls-Royce going. Oh man, chat. Just got a call for a premium trip, but I can't do it. Bummer. All right, let's see how we're doing up front here. VMO is 350. MMO is 0.9 above 26.5. Yeah, so that's the mode B limits. Yeah, Yeah, Gus, but what's the mode A limit? Kurt Lewis, I don't necessarily talk about who I fly for on stream, but an airline that flies Boeings. How's that? All right, let's see. We got 50 miles. 206. We're on the course to Milford, which that jives. It was 63 miles when we started. It's 49, counting down now. All right, so once we get to Milford, then we're going to go INS nav, and we're going to go to EHK, which is Enoch, I believe. Yeah. Yep. Which is about 34 miles away. So, Kurt Lewis, awesome. Hey, maybe we've flown together, man. Gus, mode A limits 380 MSL. Yeah, okay, so the MMO is 0.9 in both modes. So I think this is low, but we'll see. What was the I think I've flown with a lot of 7.2 guys that said if it's not clacking, you're slacking. Like they would just ride up on the barber pole all the time. Different era of aviation for sure. Flight engineer just chilling back here watching everything. What's funny to me is if you look at it, a lot of the, automation obviously played a big role, but a lot of this stuff that the engineer did, like the generator panel is obviously very simplified now. The fuel system really isn't. I mean, you don't have the crossfeed valves in the twin engine airliner. Well, you do. You have a single crossfeed valve, but like this fuel panel was just moved up here on the 7.3. These engine gauges were moved up here. The whole hydraulic panel was simplified to 4 switches. It's not too much of a leap to see how they took this panel and moved it up onto the overhead. Because now that we're in up and away flight, there's not a whole heck of a lot to do back on the engineer's panel. Whereas over here in the right seat of the 7.2, the joke was, pitot heat, what do we eat? Because you're not really running a whole heck of a lot over here. I think the difference though was that this type of navigation was so much more workload intensive compared to just following the magenta line. Oh, Gus, all right, it's more about your zero fuel weight. Gotcha. Friend said that had the brake failure, he said if they needed to fly fast, they used to fly 350 to 0.85. Okay. I mean, that's still pretty quick for a for a domestic airline airplane. All right, we can use another little cheat sheet here. So we need to cross Chow at 15,250. So there's this handy little calculator. Oh boy. Let's see. Might have to use the other keys. There we go. 15,000. So we need 1,800 feet per minute and 44 nautical miles to get down to Chow. So Hold'em, this is 19, that's 21, so that's 41 miles. So right before we get to Hold'em, we need to start. That's going to be our top of descent. We'll be about maybe 3 to 4 miles outside of Hold'em. Lyric, yeah, the 7.3 was one of the first planes to get rid of the flight engineer. Actually, a friend of mine from the Reno Air Races that I was talking to got hired on with United as a 737-200 flight engineer. So a 737-200 flight engineer. And I asked him what that involved, and he said you would sit on the jump seat. So you would sit right here between the pilots, with your legs kind of on either side of the center console, and you work the overhead panel. And if you've ever sat on the 737 jump seat, it is not comfortable. The saving grace of that job was probably that the airplane didn't do very long legs. But yeah, flight engineer on the 737. The airplane was designed for a 2-pilot crew, and United was still flying them with an engineer. The earliest 76s had engineer stations too, from what I hear. But the funny thing about that is that there was nothing on the overhead, so it basically had no overhead panel, and the overhead was back here for an engineer. It's kind of a cool picture if you can find one. Gus, fast cruise is 12,000 pounds an hour, so Zippy, I'm going to have to pull an actually moment here. All right, send it. What do you got? Yeah, Gus, we're right around 12,000 pounds an hour on the fuel flow, so that number checks. All right, Zippy, cleared hot. Send it. Okay, so we're approaching Milford. Oh, was it the Airbus A300B4? Wait, doesn't the B4-200 have an engineer? I know the A310 does not. I thought the A300, the steam gauge A300s, I thought they had engineers. I thought the A300-600 was the first one without an engineer. Oh, FF. Oh, F. Okay, the 200 FF. What about the DC-9, chat? Because the DC-9 was an early 60s airplane, wasn't it? And it beat the 737 to market. Okay, so here's Milford. The got it. So the non-forward-facing crew concept was with the engineer. FFCC was certified with 2 crew. Got it. Okay. However, did both of those airplanes predate the DC-9? Because I want to say the DC-9 was probably the first 2 crew airliner. Okay, chat. Here we go. We're coming up on Milford. We're about 4 miles high. DME is at 4. So now we're going to go to Oxnav, and the airplane's going to pick up. So now disregard this, and we're flying on the INS, 33 miles, 5 minutes to Enoch, at which point we're going to go to Hold'em. So we're going to dial up Enoch, which is 117.3. This is a really cool way to fly flight sim. Because we don't get to do this kind of thing in the real world anymore. All right, so we'll just double check. So INS is saying 30 miles. VOR is also saying 30 miles. That jives. We're going to turn to Enoch, and then we're going to depart Enoch on a 186 radial. So we'll spin in a 186. And that'll be to Hold'em. So this doesn't have to be centered up until we get to Enoch, so no worries here yet. Oh yeah, FFCC was a mod. Unions fought it in the U.S. That makes sense because around the same time they're putting 737 flight engineers in. So that checks. Lyric, I think it was the French Caravel. Oh. I don't know anything about the Caravel, actually, except it's a great-looking airplane. But I think United was the only U.S. airline to fly it. Kurt Lewis, I see your other videos say real warbird pilot 2. What warbirds do you fly? A couple, man. Stearman. Flown the Stearman a little bit. I own a T6, so I fly the T6. A little bit of T28 time. That's pretty much it. I've flown the BT-13 once, but it was from the back, so I don't really count that. But really, Stearman T6 and T28. I'd like to. I mean, there's a whole bucket list of airplanes I'd like to fly, but I think the T6 is kind of the intersection of what I can afford and cool round motor flying, because the warpers are pretty efficient at turning money into noise. Yeah, Kurt Lewis, it's a pretty small that's a pretty small network that you're talking about right there. Current airline, warbird pilots, flight simmers. Gus, yeah, you're correct. The first 7.6s had a flight engineer panel, but it was effectively the overhead, and the later airplanes just took the flight engineer panel and moved it to the overhead. But it was always designed to be a two-man airplane. Yeah, so I don't fly the ER, Gus, but I believe that there is a bookcase / crew station where the flight engineer used to sit. So, Oscar V1's baby recommended me this stream. Hey, how's it going? Kurt Lewis. Yeah, you can't go wrong with a T6, man. I absolutely love it. It's a beautiful flying airplane that, if you don't pay attention to, will absolutely get your attention. I've only got I've flown it maybe 20 hours at this point, and I've definitely noticed that it's an airplane that if you don't pay attention to it, it'll bite you quick. But that's what makes it fun. What about you? Do you fly warbirds as well? Okay, so we're 5 miles out from Enoch. So once we get to Enoch, we should get station passage. I'm a little concerned about the let's see. Make sure I got the right waypoint in here. Waypoint 3. Oh shoot, chat, we screwed up. We're going directly to yeah, we're going to the wrong fix. We don't want to be going from 2 to 3. We want to be going from 1 to 2. Uh-oh. Let's see, because waypoint 3 is Hold'em. Yeah, okay. We might be cooked here, so we got to do, real quick, 112.8. So we just gave ourselves a shortcut, an unauthorized shortcut. All right. Let's talk to the chat too much. 112.8. 112.8. Good thing we're not on ATC. We'd have been violated. All right, 112.8, and this is a 214 radial. All right, 214 radial. Let's see. Waypoint change 2 to 3. Insert. All right, 54 miles from waypoint 3, which is Hold'em. And then that's 79 miles. Yeah, that checks out. So Enoch, so we're basically right here coming down. So we bypass Enoch and we're proceeding direct to Hold'em. This flag should be, let's see, 112.8. 112.8 and a 214 radial. All right, so this should work out. Shakovic, what if I could have one plane come to the sim by any developer? What would it be? Ooh, that's a tough one, man. I think a 737 Classic, like a 300 model 7.3 or a 707. And this is going to be a hot take. Captain Sim, but Captain Sim circa like Flight Sim 2002 days, when they actually gave you good systems and things like that. I think that would be the answer. Kurt Lewis, you do mostly for the CAF and some private collectors. Awesome. Biggest to smallest is, ooh, B-29, B-24. Okay, so you're flying Fifi and Lil Diamond Lil. DC3, TBM, Beach 18, T6, T34 Stearman. Dude, awesome. That's a great list of airplanes. I left out the T34. I've got about 100 hours of T34B time when I was flying that. Dude, yeah, that's an impressive list, man. Fifi came up to my home base a little while ago, and I went and chatted with some of the guys. Guy named Randall Haskins, I believe. I don't know if you know him or not, but I was talking to him about flying the B-29, and it was pretty cool, man. Definitely some quirks to flying airplanes that old for sure. Yeah, I mean, Zippy of Phoenix would do a classic 7.3, 100%, but I don't know if they're going to do it. All right, so we're 37 miles away from Hold'em because we're going to waypoint 3, which is 5 minutes away. Yeah, so basically what we did is Milford's up here. We should have, or sorry, Milford's right here. We should have turned due south to EHK, but I had the wrong waypoint in the INS, so we actually cut this corner here, and we're going direct to Hold'em. So, and remember, about 5 miles from Hold'em, 10 miles from Hold'em is our top of descent. So we're about 25 miles from top of D. So our crossing restriction is going to be 15,250 at Chow. So we're going to drop this down to 15,000. And we'll get down first and then slow down. So we'll go ahead and get the fasten seatbelt and no smoking signs out. There we go. There we go. Dude, the A340 doesn't do much for me, really. I kind of like the A330 more than the 340. The 4 hairdryer engines doesn't really light my fire much. Yeah, Kurt Lewis, they did have a 737 Classic. I think that was about the time, though, that they were starting to go downhill with regards to their systems and stuff. So I don't know how good it was. Yeah, I agree with you guys. Phoenix does put out some fantastic stuff. So if Phoenix made a 7.3 Classic, man, I'd be all over that. I think I'm going to have to pick up the CSS just for streamer purposes, and I'll let you know how it is. I'm going to go into it with an open mind, but the external model does not have me too excited. Oh, Kurt, yeah, you got him involved in the CAF. Now he's the OPSO. Dude, awesome. Yeah, he seemed like a real cool guy. Zippy, this stopped being a Boeing safe space the day me and V1 joined. I don't know, man. I think the 7.2 is right up V1's alley. I think he'd be all about this particular Boeing. All right, let's see. Descent and approach check. We'll just knock this out now because it's going to get busy. Seatbelts, shoulder harnesses, got it. Seatbelt, no smoking signs are on. Anti-ice, we don't need. Brake pressure, looks good. Gear lever, check. I guess it's still there. Not sure what that is. Arrival brief, altimeters, landing data. We'll set that once we're on final. Fuel panel is set. We don't need the heat. Hide pumps are on. Cabin altitude and circuit breakers. All right, set check is complete. Let's see. Okay, so the CDI is coming in, which is good. That means I'm not completely wrong on where we're at. And what we're going to do is we're going to start slowing down for our descent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the auto throttles off. I'm going to run this back to 280. All right, I'm going to pull the middle inch into idle. All right, there's our 2-minute warning. So I'm going to start decelling here, and then we're going to descend at 280. So we'll just say they gave us the crossing, restriction there at Chow. Zippy, aren't you learning to fly the 7.3 with like Delta checklist or something? You're a Boeing guy now. Just accept it. You are now a Boeing guy. All right, there it is. IS hold. Down we go at 280. And we're going to pull these back to about 60%. And that should give us about 2,000 feet a minute. Because remember, the book said we needed 1,800, and we want to get down earlier to. All right, there's our 0.7. So now we want to go waypoint change from 3 to 4. Insert. There we go, and that should follow this CDI line. All right, there we go. Okay, we're back, chat. We know we're going from Hold'em. This is where we are now. We just crossed Hold'em, and now we're going to Chow. This is 43 miles away, and this says 20 and 23, so 43. Yep, so we're right over Hold'em, descending across Chow at 250 and 15,000. A little bit of trouble capturing. I probably should have done that in heading mode, but it's all good. Zippy, hey man, at the end of the day, both of them were a joy to fly in their own ways, but the biggest turnoff on the PMDG was the sounds. Right, yeah, which Boris did. Dude, Boris's sounds made the 7.3, it's a different animal, for sure. Yeah, they did really good work with the sounds there. I think I could use that as an opener in the interview. I know all your flows, checklists, and SOPs. Just check ride me, fools. Dude, I always found the best thing was just bring all that knowledge without saying anything, and then when you get in the sims and, you know, when they start teaching them to you, listen and act like you don't know it, and then suddenly the next day when you show up and you crush it, you're a savant, you know? All right, so we've got 7,000 feet to lose. We got about 7 minutes to go, so we need 1,000 feet per minute or so. We're doing more than that, so we're actually a little bit ahead. So we'll bump the power up just a little bit. Check our fuel. We got 4,000 pounds per tank. Everything's looking good back here. All right, life is good. We don't need the fuel heats. Down we go. Passengers are sitting down. Awesome. We're not going to use auto brakes for this, so. I had a placebo moment a month ago flying the 7.3. CFM sound exactly the same as the Phoenix, so I had an internal moment when I was looking at the 7.3 panel in front of me. Yeah. Yeah, well, and truly the NG, you know, while it's still a Boeing on the overhead panel, the NG avionics with the glass panel and everything are very, in a lot of ways, I think it's a little better system than the Airbus, but I'm obviously biased. But like having things like the vertical situation display, the VSD, I think is huge. So I'm going to add just a little bit of power on number 2, bring it up to maybe 1,000 pounds an hour on the fuel flow, and hopefully that shallows us up to about 2,000 feet a minute. Try that. A little bit more. All right, there's 18,000, so we'll magic bear ref key and altimeter. We'll get the fixed landing lights on, runway turnoffs on, wing lights come on. All right, we did our descent check a little early. Auto brakes, not going to use them. Yeah, dude, that's really cool. Being able to have access to that that resource, for sure. Man, look at that, throttles everywhere. All right, so we got 4 minutes to cross chow. So we're down actually a little early. So I kind of screwed that up from a descent planning point of view, but that's fine. It gives us a little bit of time to slow down. All right, there's our altitude capture. Come on, jet. And we'll run this back to 250. And we'll let the other throttles worry about it. Okay. And then blade, this is defined off of Boulder City, so we'll put 16.7 in here. So we'll go 16.7. And let's see, what are we on right now? We're running OxNav, so I can actually swap this. So just for human factors, I'm going to put 16.7 there, 16.7 here, and then we're going to put the ILS freak in. It's still the same radial, a 217 inbound. So, 217 inbound. All right, so we're going to swap over from ILS nav to Vorlok. That'll get us on here. All right, blade is at 24 DME. We're at 56. So at 39. All right, so at 39 DME, we'll be at chow, and then we can get down to blade. For the ILS, this is busy, chat. All right, 111.5. Man, I got to give Big Sim a little bit of credit here, man. Flying this airplane on VATSIM has got to be just horrendous. All right, so we got 111.5 set, 2269, so we can set the barrel bug here at 2269. In there, final approach fix will be Vreeland at 3,800 feet. YouTube doing its best Indy 350 impersonations. Uh-oh, did it crash? Chat, proof of life. Somebody give me a proof of life. Ruh-roh. Uh-oh. Crashed for AJ. How's everyone else doing? Zippy or 5x5? All right. Looks like it may just be an AJ problem for now. All right. All right, AJ, you're the odd man out. Don't do that to me, man. All right. Chow, 39 DME, we said that. So we're going to cross that at 15 and 250. So we got that made. Woo. All right. I was worried for a second. You refreshed, you're back. Great. Got Lake Mead. Quick self plug, y'all. If you haven't yet dropped a like if you like the video, please do. That really helps me out as far as getting the video shown around to other folks. So I'd really appreciate that. All right. Got the passenger view here. That's pretty good. FSCabral does a really nice job with these liveries. The chipping on the wing surface. Okay, we're in altitude hold, so I'm going to spin down the next altitude restriction, which is blade, and we'll hit that at 250. Now we might slow 210. Normally around here at Vegas is slowing you down to 210, or asking you to keep your speed up, max forward speed, one of the two. But you got to be careful cooking into Vegas in the summertime because it can be a challenge to slow down going in there for sure. Okay, 39. There's chow. We've hit chow. We're going to vertical speed it. So we're going to go vert speed, altitude select, disengage, drop it down, go for 1,000 feet a minute. So we're going We're doing 250, which is about 6 miles a minute. It's what, 15 miles, so 2 minutes between these two. So we actually need to get down a little faster. Do about 1500. There we go. And we're looking to be at 12,000 feet by 24 DME. I had no idea how hard the guys up front were working when I was a kid riding in the back of a Northwest 727. Just sitting back here reading a book, looking out the window. Okay, 10 miles, so about a little under 2 minutes left. 1,000 to go, that'll work great. All right, then once we get to Blade, expect radar vectors. So we'll just self-vector ourselves onto the final approach course for 26 left once we get to Blade. So we can close this. 116.7, that's what we're flying off of right now, so we can swap to the other chart. Kurt, gotta go. Keep checking for them bees. Awesome, man. Hey, thanks for joining in, dude. I appreciate it. We'll see ya. AJ. Reading Nun's Life. That's awesome. All right, there's 12,000. 12,000. We're leveling off, still doing 250. Okay. So now what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do rather, is we're going to go heading mode. So I'm going to go 210, engage heading mode, and then we're going to put in 259 for the course. So 259. Boom. There's 259, and I'm going to do it over here as well. Get the FO going. All right, 259 course set, and then that way we have a general idea of where we're intercepting at. And Preno is mandatory 8,000 feet, 210 knots. So we'll start getting down to 8. So there's 8,000. We'll do vert speed, disengage out. Oh boy, I want to do that, and we'll head on down. Virtual flight diaries, 100%, man. Can you imagine? Like, so Delta in particular, right before the 7.2 went away, they rebranded these airplanes as Delta Express, and they would do Boston, JFK, you know, all the short turns off the eastern seaboard, and yeah, my God, I can't imagine doing 4 or 5 legs in this thing a day. That had to be just absolutely brutal. All right, so we're descending down to 8,000. We're in vertical speed mode. We would be on a vector with ATC at this point, but look at that, chat. What a view. Okay. Now I'm going to swap over to the ILS, and it's parked, so it doesn't have the doesn't have it yet. All right, we got 250 below 10. So this is Boulder City, so I think we need to actually turn just a little bit more here. So we're going to turn in a little bit here. What? Sorry, chat. I should have given you a heads up before we went outside. Ha! Zippy's soundbar is ruined. Alright, Lake Las Vegas is right there, and we fly past that in real life on the approach here, and I think, actually, yeah, there's the runway, so we'll start kind of self-vectoring over that way. Just because this is, you know, real world, you'd either be getting vectored by ATC or you would have a localizer out here. So, you know. Larry's at 6,500. Prino is at 21. So we're going to start slowing here. We're going to start slowing down to 210. And I'm going to go to landing, and I'm going to set the bugs for a flap 30. All right, and then I'm going to run the speed bug back up here. Set 210. There we go. Alright. About there. There we go. Localizer's alive. Alright, we're going to keep going down to 6.5. And then we're going to intercept at 6.5. So there's 65. We'll engage altitude select. And I'm waiting on a glide slope here. Okay, DME's 18, so Prino was at 8. That's at 21 DME, so now Larry's at 16. And 6,500, so we're just a little ahead of it, so that works out good. And once we level off, we can throw out some flaps. We're going to put the autopilot in Vorlok. There it is. All right, glide slope's coming. And here comes flap 2 as we slow to 210. I do think the FSS could use a little bit more wing flex. The 7.2 had a fairly stiff wing, but it flexed more than this does. All right, glide slope is captured, 6,000 for the mist. So we've got 6,000 set. Now we're coming downhill. Now, I don't know if the 7.2 is as slippery as the 7.3, but we're going to find out. So 230 knots for flaps 5. They're basically back at idle. All right, let's get the ignition to continuous. And we'll say we've been cleared to land. We'll get the recorder going. There we go. Chat, I did a practice stream last night, or a practice of this last night, and absolutely smashed. So we'll see if I do better this time. Here comes flap 5. Yeah, those slats coming out. There they go. I would imagine this thing is quite draggy in real life. We'll see. And this is the Fly Tampa Vegas. We're going to have to take over and fly manually with the glide slope. All right, there's 180. If this is to be believed, it flies the glide slope. It decelerates on glide slope much nicer than the 7.3 does. Okay, 215 knots for flap 15. Here they come. Yeah, Lyric, I believe you that it's way draggier than the 7.3. All right, 2,200 feet. Here we go. Gear down. Flap 20. What was VREF again? VREF 131, so we'll add 5, 130, 140. That works. All right. Flap 25 is 195. There we go. All right. Flap 30, landing checklist. Here we go. Look at these flaps, chat. Final configuration right over Sunset Plaza, or Sunset Station, rather. There we go. All right, here we go. Auto throttles coming off. Manual throttles. I have full total manual control. There we go. Yeah, Lyric. So I end up usually being around flap 10 coming down the glide slope, just because it won't decelerate at flap 5.
1,000.
All right, here we go. Try and get the speed back under control here. Get back up on the glide slope. Fly Tampa trying to fly us into the side of the mountain here. All right. Oh boy, did we forget the gear? Chat, why is the gear not coming down? Ooh, Lyric, thank you. Zippy, thank you. All right,
500.
gear. We'd be going around for that, chat. Yeah, it's coming down. Hang on. All right, hang on. 2, 3 down lock, doors are shut. Ooh, chat, spicy. I should have got a config warning horn there. Ah, the gear's down. All right.
100.
Yeah, the gear's down.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Come on, give me a greaser. There we go. All right, and we're down. There we go. There we go. We got 2 in reverse. That's a binding issue. Oh, speed brakes. They're manual. They're manual in the 7.2. They don't auto deploy. All right, manual brakes, 80 knots, still in the board or still in the reverse. Chat. It takes a village, but we made it. Hey, V1, did you see that greaser? You worried about the landing competition now? I would be. Stow the boards. Flaps are coming up. Lights. Oh, we got, is that V1? I think that's V1. Chat. We got an Airbus ahead of us. Look at that. All right, we're cleared across because we're not on a network. I can't believe I forgot the gear. I actually didn't put the gear down. I put the handle down on my Bravo, and they just didn't. I guess the handle didn't come down. Good catch, y'all. I was just checking to see if y'all were watching. Oh no, V1, your son demands flap 40. Well, if he's going to hang out with me, he needs to get used to being disappointed. So that's a start. Chat. I was wondering why it was so slick on final. Turns out we didn't have the wheels out. I think that was a good touchdown, though. I think we saved it. Okay, let's see. Taxiing in, pitot heat. Kill that. Auto brake disarm, that's fine. Engineer's back here. He fires up the APU. All right, flaps are up. Weather radar is off. TCAS. Flight director off. Autopilot's off. Auto throttle's off. Run the checklist here. Landing checklist, gear. All right, cool. Brake pressure's checked. Flaps are up. Spoilers are off. Anti-skid. That's interesting to me that they turn the skid off when they're taxiing. Anti-skid off. Ignition off. Strobe lights, radar transponder DME, and then stab trim. Engineer gets the APU going and shuts off the galley. Okay. And no more coffee for you. There we go. Yeah, and then I forgot I was flying the old school Boeing, so it didn't have speed brake auto deploy. All right, we're taxiing in. We've got the cool down time. We'll go ahead and kill number 2. Will we? There we go. Kill the spare. And we'll go in the gate here. Park next to Hawaiian. Oh no, we'll park next to Widget, right between the Widget and Alaska. There we go. See a gate with our name on it. Yeah, the old FSS is getting to the point where it's pretty fun. There's some small things that they can work on, the SimBrief integration and the flat modeling and stuff, but this thing's a lot of fun. We'll turn the INS off. Not going to do an update on it. Okay. And we're not going to shut it down when we get to the gate because we want replay to work. There we go. Stopped. ERP trademark. There we go. Parking brake is set. Let's go ahead and watch the replay. All right, so here we go. Stop recording. And set. And replay. There we go. I think the flaps, the flaps animate on this airplane. Let's see how we did. Yeah, there's something going on with my landing gear. So, for some reason, I'm not getting any config warning horn, because I should have gotten a config warning horn when I went to flaps 30 with the gear up. I wonder if they'll actually come down. Oh, there they go. Oh my God. So that's where we remembered the gear. Oh my God. Chat, do you remember that there's a YouTube video of an MD-11, a FedEx MD-11 doing that? They dropped the gear at like 200 feet. All right, let's look at this. Look at that, right over Sunset Boulevard, Pecos. I think that's Eastern, actually, that street. Man, that view brings back memories, man. Right there, into the flare. Oh, man. Big Sim's in trouble. That was a nice 727 landing. All right, let's watch that back. Pause. Back it up here. Resume. See outside. Watch your ears, chat. Oh, boom. Look at that. Man, once we got the wheels down, we did pretty good. All right, we gotta pause it, back it up. So there's a viewing area right here. Let's see. I gotta put these away. So in Vegas, there's a airplane viewing area right here, and I spent must be thousands of hours in this viewing area watching airliners land. All right, there we go. So now I need to go drone follow mode off. Okay. And resume. Look at that. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Dude, that's where they all touched down too. They floated right past the viewing area and landed like right there. Oh man. Yeah. So you'd be sitting there, you'd stop at the local like Wendy's, you know, grab a chicken sandwich, and then drive the car out, and just park here, and you could tune up the radio too. And matter of fact, I think that's what that sign might be. You could tune up the radio, and you could listen to the ATC controllers talking to the airplanes. Like you could hear Tower say, "Hey, put your gear down." Hey Jay, you're somewhere between McLeod and Eastern. Look for the plume of smoke. Damn, Bravo throttles went to sleep, and I couldn't get them to recover. Oh man, that's like right over here. A big old plume of smoke. Yeah, and then you'd see the line of airplanes coming in. Oh man. Oh, look at the cross. We had a crosswind too, and we buttered it. Oh, chat. Hey, V1 landing contest win. Look at this. Look at this. Then those turbojets. Oh, chat. All right. Well, chat, I think that's it for me today. Appreciate you joining. Put the win com and you'll be golden against V1. Well, chat, I appreciate you joining. Short notice, as most of my streams tend to be, but I appreciate the turnout. So we'll be back in the 7.3 for the next one. But if you don't mind dropping a like, and I really appreciate you stopping by. So we'll see you in the Discord, and hopefully do a next stream next couple of days. All right. Take care, y'all. Thanks for joining. We'll catch you on the next one.